everybody. Welcome back to the Renatus Invest Edge. My name is Jay Stark. It is truly my pleasure to get to welcome you to the call today. I do want to recognize those of you that are here for the first time or maybe have been gone for a little while and are back for the first time in a long time. Welcome to the call. If you are serious about getting the best tips, tricks, and access to tools in regards to real estate investing today, you are in the right place. The design of this call is to bring practitioners, individuals that are out there killing it in today's market, out and give them an opportunity to share all of their insights, their knowledge, their processes that they use, and how the Renatus education has assisted them in their efforts and in their business. Now, today we are going to pivot a little bit. I was really excited, and we will very shortly bring out Mr. Ben Kjar and just go through everything with him. But we unfortunately had a little bit of a miscommunication. I need to take the onus of this one and just say I apologize to Mr. Ben Kjar. I did not communicate effectively enough, and the good news is we will have him out very shortly. But in his stead, we have a very real treat. So instead of just being our host for the call, we are going to have an opportunity to hear from Mr. Bob Snyder as a practitioner in the real estate investing sphere. Now, one thing that you should know is that Bob is a CEO who practices what he preaches. He is an active real estate investor. Now I say he, but he and his lovely wife are active real estate investors and are out building their portfolio actively. I am truly honored to not only get to work for, but to get to work with Bob in the building, all things Renatus. But make sure that you pay very close attention because, Mr. Snyder, I know you have some incredible content to share today.
Well, we do. And you know what? It's going to be a fun day. And it'll be great to have Ben with us in the next couple of weeks here and get him into the studio. But, you know, in a moment like this, I just want to show you something. You know, every single individual needs to be prepared for just about anything because in a moment's notice, you may be the one that's actually doing the training. And the fortunate thing about this is I've had, about 4 decades to prepare for this moment. So it's not like it's a big deal.
So not much time at all, but...
No, you just grab one of the many of the presentations and trainings that you've done and you say, all right, this one will absolutely resonate with our audience today. And hey, before we get started, I just wanted to make mention of this. If you like what you're receiving here on Renatus Invest Edge, then I would encourage you to subscribe to this YouTube channel so that we make sure that we can give you notifications and show you the love. So every single time we have one of these great trainings that's taking place and an interview with one of our practitioner instructors or students from our community, that you're able to glean the wisdoms that come from being involved with this discussion. We want to help you in your investing career, and that's what we are planning to do today. So I am going to dive right into it. Today's discussion is going to be the 13 success killers of real estate investing and how to avoid them. So hang on to your seat, take some copious notes, and let's have ourselves a good time. First of all, number one. I almost feel like there needs to be a drum roll, right? Here we go. Number 1 is all about analysis paralysis. This is one of the biggest challenges that hold a lot of individuals back. They always think that, well, I know a lot, but I don't know enough. Or I know a little, but I don't know as much as I should. And they continually, put themselves into a never-ending cycle of not really engaging in the wonderful world of real estate investing. They're not out there making offers. They're not out there doing things because they're in analysis paralysis. The killer is overthinking deals. Because if you're overthinking every single deal, that leads to inaction and missed opportunities. And we don't want to see that. The great thing about real estate is there's so many different outs. In other words, you can make offers all day long and you have the opportunity to really do your due diligence. If the deal doesn't work, if the numbers don't work, you don't do the deal. But by dang, you'll want to tie it up because if you don't tie it up and it's a good opportunity, somebody else is going to grab it and you're going to be on the outside looking in. And I would absolutely hate to see that. Now, how to avoid this? It's really simple. You avoid it by setting a clear due diligence checklist and deadline. You use a decision matrix to act within 48 to 72 hours once your criteria are met, and you utilize the right systems that better ensures profitability. All of that is a part of overcoming it. So on each of these different 13 success killers and how to avoid them, we're going to talk about, the killer itself and then how to avoid it. And that's just it. Do your due diligence, take action. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can make that work. And Jay, with you and Whitney, I mean, you've
Yep.
invested in different places all across the country, right? Yep. So in each of those areas of the country, how did you do your due diligence?
So you have to find professionals in the market.
Mm-hmm.
It's really great when you're tapped into a network like Renatus and you have people all over the place that you know, like, and trust, and you can just reach out to them and say, hey, do you have a professional in your market? But another thing that you can do is you can actually find professionals in the market that you like dealing with, and then through them find other professionals that they like dealing with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you borrow their credibility in that market, and you're able to then leverage that as you're doing deals.
Right on, man. And that's how you go from local to national. Now, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Because was your first deal in the Midwest? Was it in
No.
the East Coast? Was it in the West Coast?
No.
Was it in another country?
No.
First deal wasn't.
No, it was
Yeah.
a couple miles from my house.
Exactly. Yes, that's the point that I wanted to get to. Because here's the good news. When you're first starting out, man, just draw a little circle. Get a map. Draw a little circle about 30 miles around your house, because where you want to invest is where you are familiar right out of the gate. That's probably the best advice you could do, because eventually you get so comfortable with the process, you can be like Jay and his lovely wife Whitney here, and then you can invest wherever, whenever. I mean, I have actually had traveling notaries come to my house, come to my hotel room. I've done deals. I've never seen the deal. I actually have bought property, sold property, never saw the property ever.
I own a series of homes right now, 4 houses that I've never seen before, and I've owned them for almost a decade.
Yeah, right on, man.
I do want to point out, I so love that you put analysis paralysis as number 1, because I feel like this is a trap that brand new investors fall into more often than seasoned investors.
Exactly.
They're not the only ones who fall into it, but that first step is typically the hardest. So what's the best way for them to create a decision matrix?
You know what? One of the things that needs to be on your decision matrix is this, and all it is that you make kind of a nice little checklist and check the boxes. And in doing so, you want to put down, okay, what do I need to know, right? What is the market telling me? Does that line up with where I'm at? And then you can make an intelligent, informed decision. One of the cheats to really, being able to make a quick decision is simply this: go out there and get familiar with the market that you want to invest in. Start looking at homes, start pulling comps, and then start figuring out the square footage of each of those homes and the price per square footage. It's one of the easiest ways for you to at least get a gauge on whether or not the property you're looking at is going to be a good deal, an okay deal, or a fantastic opportunity for you, right? Because you can easily go into an area that you're familiar with where you've already pulled comps, you've already done due diligence on other homes, and say, all right, this is a 3-bed, 2-bath house. It's got a 2-car garage. It's got a 1/4 acre. I think it's a great deal. I've looked at 5 of these other deals, and I can tell you the price per square foot after repair value should be this. If I can get it for this, I have this much room to be able to renovate this property. And then you go, all right, man, this is a no-brainer. I think I'm going to do this deal, right? So you make the offers and away you go. So that helps you to avoid analysis paralysis. Now, we go to slide number 2 and killer number 2. Killer number 2, here it is. Number 2, lack of a clear investment strategy. All right, the killer is this. You're trying to flip, wholesale, rent, maybe do the Burr method, and the Burr method is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat all at the same time. And when that happens, man, it causes massive confusion and scattered results. There's an old saying, niches to riches. When you're first starting out investing, I would encourage you to laser focus on one strategy. Get really good at that strategy, while in the background you're learning about additional strategies, because they'll all serve you well. Now, that's the killer. Hey, how do you avoid it? Well, you avoid it this way, okay? Bullet point number 2 is this. You pick one strategy based on your current resources, your risk tolerance, and your goals. Here's the key. Concentrated effort produces greater results. You want to master it before expanding. So, clear investment strategy. Jay, I'm just kind of curious. I mean, you've certainly worked with all of our students and our investors over the years, and you've been able to observe all the cool things that I have.
Yep.
There are just a few things in common about those who really go out and crush it. What's your observation about what those are?
Oh, for individuals who are crushing it, they're disciplined, They disassociate emotion from the deal.
Very good.
They look at the deal as
they fall in love with the deal and not the property.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
They fall in love with the numbers, not exactly. And they have a path where they understand the difference between a pivot and a quit. They understand the difference between what will be a successful deal and what is, a lot of people, they fall in love with the deal and they just want to force it to work, right? That whole round peg, square hole, or square peg, round hole, however that saying goes, where they just go, I know there's a deal here and I want to force it to work. But if it's not in your toolbox, then it may not be the right time to do that. And so I've seen a lot of really successful people that'll just say next. They're not going to sit there and try to force the deal to work. Now, one of the cool parts is that the more experience you get with real estate investing, and especially coupled with the Renatus education, is that you'll start to know more and more how that's not actually a square peg.
Yes.
And how you can actually see it from a different perspective and it will fit and become profitable.
Oh, you know what? Back a few episodes where we had Dane Clark on here, he was a perfect example of that, because what Dane did is he came in and he talked about the different strategies that he's learned through the Renatus education. And he says, hey, it used to be I'd get stuck in this area, but then I thought, well, why can't I apply this strategy and this strategy? We'll kind of meld them together, weave it all together, and see if we can't pull a deal out of that. And that's exactly what he's doing in today's marketplace, and he's flat crushing it.
Yeah.
And that's what we want, you to be able to do. Go out there and make it happen. It starts with one. Narrow your lane, pick one strategy, become expert at it, master it, and then move on. Let's talk about success killer number 3, shall we? Number 3, not building a power team. You see, here's the great thing about it. Real estate investing is not an individual sport. It's a team sport. And team, the old acronym for team. I mean, together, everyone achieves more. It's never more true than in real estate investing. So the killer is this: doing everything yourself leads to burnout and amateur mistakes. And before I get into how to avoid it, I want to talk about this killer. Because what I've observed over and over again is individuals who say, well, I'm handy, right? I'm handy. I can do this. I can hammer. I can tear down. I can install a countertop. I can, install some flooring.
Why would I pay that guy to do something I can do myself?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my goodness, somebody wanting to lay tile, they're outrageous. You get a plumber in there. I mean, they're charging you all sorts of money. And that is the one thing that will absolutely squash you. Here's why. Because most folks who get involved with real estate investing are doing it on a part-time basis. In other words, you're working your full-time job or you've got a full-time business. And then you're going to spend your weekends and your evenings and your holidays doing all the work to renovate a property so that you can squeeze out of it a few bucks more. Here's what I want to impress upon you. As a real estate investor, especially when you understand the art of negotiation and deal making, and especially creative acquisition, I mean, your time could be worth literally hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars per hour. Here's what I mean by that. If you are so tied up on one deal that you can't even look at another deal, that might be a lost opportunity cost that you're going to have to endure. But it also means that you're tied up on that one deal, right? Instead of negotiating the next opportunity. And that negotiation you may go from buying a house from 440, and because of what you've learned and all the different deal-making strategies that we teach, you may be able to go, well, instead of 440, man, I got this buyer to take 380. That's a $60,000 spread. How long did it take you to negotiate the terms of that agreement, right? So what is your hourly rate then? $100 an hour, $10,000 an hour? What is it, right? And that's the thing that I want to impress upon you. Never, ever do work that is beneath your pay grade. And in real estate investing, the better you get, the better deals you can make, the better deal structure you can create, the more your hourly wage literally becomes because of that deal making. So if you've got somebody, let's say you got a plumber that wants to charge you $100 an hour, right? Okay, right? Pay it, because your time served doing the next deal and negotiating better terms and better pricing could easily overcome that. If you've got somebody that'll come in and they'll do the framing, they'll do the sheetrock, they'll do the mud and tape, they'll handle the other elements of any kind of a renovation on a property, well, then figure that into the deal. And if the numbers work and you make sure that they work according to the marketplace you're in with the labor costs and the material costs that are out there, then why wouldn't you do it so you can go work on deal 2? And then why wouldn't you sub all that out so you can work on deal 3? Because that's how you really scale up to start generating the revenue that is going to eventually move you out of that full-time job, or allow you to, enhance the business that you might be involved with and make greater profits. Now, so we've talked about the killer, right? Doing everything yourself. How to avoid it? Assemble your team early. Jay talked about this earlier on when I was saying, how did you invest in all these different places outside of the country, or outside of the state, I should say.
Not outside of the country yet.
No, not outside of the state. It's still in the U.S. And it was all about putting together his power team, surrounding themselves with the professionals in the area so that he could leverage their efforts, their skill sets, their talents, and get things done. So assemble your team early. Realtors, lenders, contractors, painters, plumbers, electricians, attorneys, property managers, and the list goes on and on. Put your team together. And then I would encourage you to do this. Don't treat them like servants. Treat them like gold. Because especially in a labor shortage, like we're experiencing here in the U.S., man, when you put together a really good power team, man, you want to make sure those guys are there for you. And the best way to do that is you got to treat them properly and make them valued so that they want to do business with you and nobody else. It also means that you pay them immediately. I mean, my subs get paid on the spot. Now, I don't pay them in advance because I've learned, unfortunately, with some subcontractors that they will take your deposit and they will pay for the materials on another job.
Yep.
Hoping that they can get the job finished and then get the money off of the job so that they can come over and finish your job.
Yep.
And you don't want to play that game. So work things out. Make sure you're smart about what you do. If they need you to buy materials, you go buy the materials and have them sent to the property that you're working on so that you're ensured that they're there. And then you pay them immediately upon the completion of the job. And I don't have a problem, depending on the person that I'm working with even paying them, along the way. So if it's a big project and they need revenue to keep them going, okay, you know what? Instead of waiting till the end, you're 25% done, I'll pay you 25% on your labor costs. You're 50% done, I'll pay you 50%. But these are a lot of times individuals that, while they might be good at their craft, they're horrible at finances and handling money. So just something to keep in mind.
Can I offer a pro tip here?
Please do.
I have never made more money with fast food than by feeding my subs.
Oh, buddy, I have spent so much money on fast food.
I tell you what, because what happens is if they have to go get lunch, they're going to leave the job site. They're going to have to pack up their tools or secure their stuff. Then they leave. They're gone for an hour. Then they might come back that day, or maybe they come back the next day.
Right.
I tell you what, one pro tip is to keep your subs engaged. Buy them lunch every once in a while.
Buy them lunch and buy them treats. I'll tell you what Holly does. I love this, man, because she goes into a job site and she brings big baskets full of treats and candies and all sorts of stuff. And she says, guys, I'm just going to set this here. This is for you, man. This is just our way of saying thank you. We appreciate the good work that you're doing for us. And you know what? I'm going to keep tabs on this. When it runs dry, I'll refill it. Oh, my goodness. What a little sugar will do.
Oh, man. It buys you so much goodwill with those individuals. You become the first person that they want to see on their caller ID.
Oh, absolutely.
Where they're like, oh, Holly's calling again? Yes, I'll take that.
Exactly. Hey, title companies, attorneys, different individuals of that, I'm always working in their behalf as well, because one of the best things I can do is I can refer them business.
Yes.
So if they're taking care of me, I'm going to take care of them. I'm going to send them business. And you know what it does? The law of reciprocation plays a very important role. And pretty quickly, those folks are my best friend. and they are making sure that I'm at the front of the line whenever I have any kind of a need. I have gone from start to close. I mean, with one of my lenders in 72 hours. Now, this is a long-term lender. This isn't a hard money lender.
Oh, wow.
No, this isn't a hard money lender.
I was thinking hard money.
No, this is traditional financing. This is being able to get 30-year fixed, financing.
Wow.
From start to finish to close in 72 hours. That's what you call building a power team, man. You want to make sure you've got a good relationship with folks.
I tell you what, Sherry's Berries, those go a long way with title companies. If you want to get your title agent just absolutely fawning over your every deal, send them Sherry's Berries.
Yeah,
I love that. And my wife and I have actually gotten a couple of deals just because we take care of our team.
And we are not receiving any compensation from Sherry's Berries.
Not at all. But Sherry's Berries, if you want to compensate us, I'll give you our address after the call.
And you know what? Don't send cash. Send Sherry's
Berries.
Yes, just oh, that's great, man. Okay, let's go on to number 4. Number 4, you ready for this?
I'm having way too much fun.
Okay, number 4. Failing to run the numbers accurately, man. The killer is this. Hope is not a formula. Bad math turns into disasters.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I've seen this over and over and over again. Hope is not a formula. I put that in there because I just thought that paints the picture. It really does. Where individuals go, hey, listen, if the stars align, if the planets come together in their orbit, on the third Sunday of the 4th week.
Yeah.
Just hoping. Make any sense, did it?
No, not at all. But I totally get it. So many people are just hoping that everything is going to be best case scenario. Oh, yeah. We're going to take down this drywall. We're not going to find any problems back there. The electrical is going to be fine. The plumbing's all going to be intact. The line out to the street is going to be pristine on a 50-year-old house.
Exactly, man. So the way to avoid it, here it is, man. Use conservative estimates.
Yes.
For rent, vacancy, rehab, your after repair value. You want to rely on real comps, not wishful thinking. Use proven deal analyzers like our Renatus iOS or double and triple check property valuations. Get a CMA and then follow that up. Remember, uneducated investors pay way too much because they buy high and then they're forced to sell low. It's not that they buy high and sell low. They're forced to sell low because they didn't do the math properly. And here's the good news, the great news about real estate investing, which I absolutely love. It's this, is that there is no ceiling on your income.
Oh,
Zero. No ceiling. Here's the bad news. There's no floor either, right? So, don't go into every transaction best case scenario. I love how you put that. Go into every single transaction with worst case scenario and make the numbers work. And if it doesn't, well, you got to seriously rethink whether or not you want to close on that transaction.
Plan for the worst, hope for the best.
Exactly.
Lloyd Leftridge put on here, math matters.
I love that, Lloyd. That's great. Math does matter.
Yes, it does.
It does. All right, number 5. Let's talk about emotional buying. Emotional buying. Now, the killer with emotional buying is this. That's falling in love with the property instead of evaluating it as an asset.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what it is.
Yep.
Okay, now I don't want to play the gender role thing here, but I have noticed some difference between myself and my wife. There are so many times she falls in love with the property. Oh. She looks at that property and she goes, "Oh, this is such a cute little house. It'll make such a cute little rental, and it'll attract a cute little family."
I
can just see the cute little kids playing in the background or backyard, and they'll probably never leave. They'll be eternal, renters with us. We'll never have any turnover. We'll build a great relationship with them over time, and everything is going to work to our favor. And then I come in and I kill her dream, right? Because I'm like, have you really taken a look at the numbers on that? Because I'm not sure that's a deal. So fall in love with the deal because math matters. Jay, I think you're going to add something to that as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so dangerous because you think to yourself, I want to make this property a property I want to live in. But then you need to really evaluate the market that you're selling into and ensure that you are not going way beyond the market. I love that we have so many classes that refer to analyzing the neighborhood, analyzing, your market and making sure that you don't put in granite when a Formica countertop would do.
Right.
Right. Clean, safe, affordable. Mm-hmm. If you start going beyond that and start going into pristine or luxury, then you need to make sure that your market will sustain that, because the last thing that you want to do is overspend on the rehab and then get less in the end.
Oh, big time, big time. My next bullet point here is along the lines of avoid it, right? Here it is. It says, always treat real estate as a business, negotiate the best outcome, and remember that if they get their price, you get your terms. But if they want their terms, make sure you get your price. If the numbers don't work, then walk away, even if you absolutely love the property. I would rather if you spend more of your time, spend a great deal more of your time looking for the right deal, you'll spend less of your time selling it. And the reason why is because all things being equal in a marketplace, what's the number one contributing factor as to whether or not a home sells? Price. Exactly. So if you can buy it low enough, you can repair it, you can get it, dialed in so that you've got a good margin. And you can always price it just a little bit below the market for a quick sale.
Yeah. I have so many stories about this, and I just know that so many people, they fall in love with the individual, and they're like, oh, well, this person's in a really tough spot. I really want to help them. But you got to remember, if you don't take care of your business, you will go out of business.
Right.
You can't help more people if you're no longer in business.
Man, that's such a good point.
You need to make sure, because I know that when Whitney and I were actively working the NOD list, which is the notice of default, and we would go into these very unfortunate, very hard circumstances. You can't take ownership for the things that have led them to that point.
Right.
You can only take ownership at that point moving forward of what you can do to help. And you need to make sure that you take care of your business so that you can help more people. That's just a cautionary tale from my own experience that I wanted to offer.
And it's a really solid one too, because that's the reason why every time you climb on a plane, one of the first things they say is, hey, in the event of an emergency, which seems to be a lot more lately with all of our travel challenges.
Yes.
In the event of an emergency, put the mask on yourself and then take care of those around you. There's a reason for that. And it's the same thing is true in real estate investing. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah.
All right, moving right along. Number six in the 13. Ignoring due diligence. We've talked a lot about due diligence. Well, what about those individuals who just throw caution to the wind and flat ignore it? The killer is this: skipping title checks. Inspections,
don't do that.
Zoning, or HOA rules can absolutely lead to costly legal and financial nightmares. So don't do it, man. Do your due diligence. Make sure you follow your checklist and, check the box. Hey, did we get our home inspection done? What did that reveal? I mean, what kinds of negotiating points have we got? How much money can we actually get off on the deal based off of the things that our home inspector found? And yes, you can do your own home inspection, but let me tell you the reason why I don't. It's not because I don't understand enough to go through and say, look at this, aluminum wire, right? In the wall socket. Or you know what? They've got a problem with this roof. I can see, the shingle's starting to curl. It's not because I can't do those things, because I want a third-party professional involved. So when I start to use all of that information in my negotiation, I can reduce the price with the seller and find myself in a much better position because I know how to make that work.
And you've got an authority who's backing it up, saying this is what it would cost to repair,
Yes.
and on and on. That is such, that's wisdom.
Exactly. Hey, so how do you avoid it? Next bullet point is right here. Never waive due diligence. Check everything. Title. I mean, even if you're just getting a preliminary title report on the property, right? Taxes, permits, foundations, liens, environmental concerns. I mean, run a scope down the sewer pipe. Do all of the things that are so necessary for you, because if you don't, they could come back to really bite you. I think we've talked about it on one of our Renatus Invest Edges in the past. I mean, a property that I backed out of not that long ago because when we ran a scope down the sewer line, there was a big old belly in the middle of that thing. And I thought, I don't know how they haven't had sewage backing up into the house.
I think that was with Marion Seta.
Oh, it was when we were talking to Marion Seta. Yeah, it was. So it's those kinds of things that get revealed that you want to know about before you sign on the dotted line.
And this really calls back to number 3, building that power team. If you have those individuals in place already, then leveraging them to get their attention on your deals takes less time. That's the reason why people tend to ignore this, is they're like, time, right? I need to be the first one there knocking on the door with an offer in hand. Well, if you have your team on speed dial and they love seeing you on their caller ID, then you will be able to get the same thing done in the same amount of time. So build that power team.
one of my early on mentors in real estate, Dolph DeRoos, who was one of Rich Dad's advisors on real estate. And Dolph used to always say this. He'd say, Bob, the deal of the decade comes along about once a week.
Where have I heard that before? I swear I've heard that somewhere.
That's because I've said it so doggone many times that you probably thought that it originated with me. Here's the challenge with it. When you've been doing this stuff for so many years, a lot of times you say things in such an authoritative way with such repetition that every once in a while I have to go, wonder where I got that. Because I thought it was original to me. Anyway.
I was talking about the class name, but I totally get it.
Oh, the class name.
Yeah.
Yes, the deal of the day. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was going a different direction with that, man.
Yes, you were.
All right. Okay, number seven, poor financing choices. This is the killer. High interest, balloon payments, or adjustable rates can crush cash flow or force premature exits. Worst thing you could have is some sort of a balloon note in place or a variable rate that is going to go up if you don't get the deal done in a certain period of time because, man, if you're behind the 8 ball, I mean, that could really wipe you out. Excuse me. So how do you avoid it? Well, here's how you avoid it. You match financing to your existing strategy. You always understand the full cost of money. Interest, plus points, plus fees, plus timing. And if possible, you do deals creatively and avoid using your own money and credit. Jay, I
was just going to go get you some water.
Get you some water, weren't you?
I was.
That's all right. Give me a second to recover while you're talking a little bit about that because your lovely wife, Whitney, actually teaches our class on raising private money.
She does.
Yeah. So speak to me a little bit about doing deals creatively, not using your own money and your own credit.
So there are so many options when it comes to getting creative with financing that as you're educated, you're going to start to see more and more opportunities open up in front of you. But the thing that that's really interesting about this is you can use some of these financing options that have the balloon payments or the adjustable rates as long as you have the proper exit strategy in place ahead of time. But you have to understand that to be disciplined inside of real estate investing, you have to put tripwires in place so that you say, okay, if it gets to this point, then this will be the result. If the arm adjusts this much, then I'm going to sell it this way, or we're going to go for this kind of financing or whatever it is. So I feel strongly about this one that every financing can work in the right situation. A lot of people look at hard money and they go, oh, hard money is really bad. They're predatory. Hard money lenders are predatory. They are not. That is one of the quickest and easiest ways for a new investor to get access to money because they lend only against the hard asset. So there really is opportunity for every financing solution to come into play in real estate investing. You just got to make sure you have the right strategy in place ahead of time.
Exactly. And didn't you love how my water just magically appeared? Look at that. Look at that split screen. That's kind of cool right there. I kind of like that.
Technology. Gotta love it.
Aaron, thank you for that, man.
I love some of the comments that are coming in because people are talking about getting educated. They're talking about, date the deal, don't fall in love with it.
Oh, yes.
I love some of this, but these are so valuable. I hope you guys are taking copious notes.
I hope so too, man. I hope so too. And you know what? Let's move along because I'm looking at the clock. I'm thinking, holy smokes,
we're running out of time
number 8, man. We got to get to 13. Let's talk about number 8. Inadequate reserves. Now, listen, man, if you've ever listened to any of my stuff, I mean, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or wherever, I am a big believer in reserves. This is the killer of a lot of deals. It's one bad month or unexpected repair can wipe you out if you have no financial cushion. So,
or 6 bad months.
Or 6 bad months. Yes, or 6 bad months.
Yeah.
Whatever it might be. What you do is you can avoid this by setting aside 3 to 6 months of reserves per property. You budget for, your capital expenses, big repairs, not just monthly maintenance. Now, there's a lot of folks who go, Bob, I'm trying to do a deal without using my own money and my own credit. So all of a sudden you're telling me I got to have another 3 to 6 months. What I'm telling you is this. You structure that into the deal. You structure in your holding costs. Yes, it means that you're going to pay a little more in interest. Yes, it means that you're going to have some additional expenses. But you make sure that the deal works with those things factored in. That's another thing. Best case scenario, I'm going to get this thing repaired. I'm going to have this sold in 45 days. Well, what if it's 6 months? I mean, that can take a lot of people out of the game, right? So if you're going to go into a deal, make sure from whether it's your private money lenders or your hard money lenders, or whoever it is, structure in a cushion so that, you know what, if you didn't need it, you just pay it all back and you pay the interest for holding the money. But if you do need it, it can help you to get to the other side where you can find a buyer that will give you the price that you need, because there's nothing worse than being in a position of desperation when it comes to real estate investing, because that means you are forced to take a low offer. And that's how you lose money.
That's exactly what I wanted to point out, is just the mindset shift that happens when you see the money start to dry up and you're like, oh no, and you start to get desperate in your real estate. That's worst case scenario.
It is, man. It is, because then you start to build your business from a position of weakness and desperation rather than from one of abundance and strength.
Yep.
And your energy around the deal changes completely. You know, Here's one of the things that I've experienced over the years. Now, listen, I've been in sales and marketing and business for decades now, right? Sales for over 4 decades, and because of that, I know that sales is an energy shift. I mean, it really is. It's an energy transference. And if I'm in a strengthened position, I mean, a really strong position where I'm feeling good about things, man, my business is going my way, I've got the right answers, I've got the right solution to a person's problem, then I can speak with confidence, and that energy that I'm emitting literally transfers to the person that I'm working with. If I'm feeling desperate, if I'm feeling vulnerable, trust me, that energy shifts, and a buyer will feel it and they will lean into it, and pretty soon you're taking it in the shorts. So make sure you keep your adequate reserves in place so that you don't ever get yourself into a position of desperation, because that'll cost you a whole lot more money than the interest paid on a little extra money you borrowed to make the deal work.
100%.
Number nine, you're going to love number 9, neglecting property management. Now, the killer is this: poor tenant screening and maintenance can ruin cash flow and reputation, right? How do you avoid it? You create solid systems for screening, maintenance, rent collection, and tenant communication. Or you hire a pro to do it for you. It's that easy. But that's another challenge, Jay, when we talk about, building your business from a position of weakness. See, here's what a lot of folks do with real estate. They go out, they say, I want to be a real estate investor. I'm going to buy a rental property. So they go out and they hire a realtor to go and find them a property. They pay full retail for that property. They don't know anything about creative acquisition strategies and deal structures and negotiating deals down and all the other things. So they pay full retail for the property. Then they put a tenant in the property and they pray over the next 10 years, somehow it's going to cash flow. And what they do along the way, because they're so tight, is they go, oh man, I don't have anybody answering my ads. I don't have anybody responding to my signs. I don't have anybody, really taking a look to rent my property. So they get desperate in their own mind and they think, I got to take whoever comes along. Worst thing you can do. First of all, you're in lead poverty consciousness because you're not doing things in the right fashion so that you're getting the response for that property. But the next thing is that because you're also in a difficult position, you take whoever comes along and you ignore due diligence and you neglect the property management, whether you're doing it, or trying to hire it out to somebody else. Man, whatever you do, avoid that mistake. And follow your gut, honestly. Look for signs. Some of the things that Holly does, and you'll have to share with me kind of what you guys do too, but because, Holly rents most of her properties and she manages those and she does a great job. But one of the things that she observes is how they show up. Do they actually call or do they just send text messages? Right? If they call, Do they say, hey, tell me about the deal? Or they say, hey, my name is so-and-so. Could you tell me a little bit about your home? Right? How do they treat her on the phone? Is it nothing more than transactional? It's like, okay, right. I need a place to stay. You got a place. I'll give you some money and, say goodbye. Or are they going to say, man, we would love to take a look at your home. When could we do this? They set an appointment. They're very cordial. They've got some people and some social skills. And then she'll set the appointment. She'll go over to meet him. But she also stacks it. She always stacks it. So she'll stack it so that she's showing 3 or 4 people the home at the same time.
Nice.
And now all of a sudden, the psychology around that is, whoa.
Limited inventory, limited time.
That's right, man. If we don't act on this thing quick, these other people are going to get it, right? So it just plays into the psychology of the whole thing. And then she observes their behavior, and if they're in the home, if they bring their kids and their kids are bouncing off the walls, and they're putting fingerprints everywhere. If they walk in and they don't take their shoes off and show respect for the rental property, check against them, check against them, check against them. She's just taking mental inventory so that, those individuals that really meet her criteria are the ones that, she wants to do business with.
Yep. See, I'm way too much of a bleeding heart. Yeah. And so when my tenants would come to me and they'd be like, oh, my sister's cousin's neighbor's dog had an operation and we're going to be a little short this month. I'd be like, oh, you know what? Go take care of them. You need to take care of you, because I'm all about family. I'm all, and so I realized that hiring a professional actually saved me a ton of money, time, energy, and effort.
There you go.
One time I got to tell a real quick story. I'll try to keep it really quick. We had one of our homes rented and the toilet backed up.
Yeah.
And the solution that the individuals had to solving the problem who were renting the home was to just keep flushing it. And so they ended up having water spill out over the top of the toilet. It starts to flood the main floor of the home. This is a single level floor, or a single level home with a basement. So it started to seep through the floor. It kind of ruined some of the drywall downstairs. And when we had our property management company go in there, first of all, took one plunge with a plunger and cleared the toilet, right? One. That was it. And so I was just like, oh, come on. But then they had us test all of the water to make sure that there was no bad water that had seeped into any of the wood or anything. And turns out it was clean. It was 100% clean. We repaired the damage, called it good. They had us then go in and do all of these additional testing because they were getting sick. They were trying to create like a lawsuit against us almost. Having a property manager in place that had not only seen this kind of stuff happen before, but actually they took on the entire burden of the cost because they knew they were going to get it back from the tenants.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was so nice to not have to deal with that personally, because I myself would have been like, oh no, the ship is sinking. They're coming after me. I'm a bad person because they made a stupid choice. Anyway.
I love your heart, man. I love your heart. That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, listen, you got to have a heart. You really do, man. You want to build a relationship with these folks, but you don't want to be taken advantage of either. And that's a big part of it, man. Number 10. Oh, we haven't got a lot of time. Holy smokes. I got to get through these next 3.
And I got a couple of questions 10. Here that people are asking. So.
Oh, okay. Well, then let me get through these and then, we'll dive right into it. I'm going to go quickly. Number 10 is trying to time the market, man. The killer is this: waiting for the perfect time often means missing the right time. How do you avoid it? Focus on buying great deals in any market. Long-term success is built on smart buying, not perfect timing. I have individuals right now, even in today's market, who are saying, I think I'm going to wait for prices to go down. And I'm like, you're going to be sorely disappointed because they're only going up. Every projection I have seen, all of the research that I have done, all of the economic indicators that I follow on a regular basis, every single one of them shows me that over the next 8 to 10 years, real estate prices are going to climb, and they're going to climb significantly. So those folks who are saying, I'm waiting for things to change, they're going to be renting for the rest of their days.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think back to how many times I've heard people say, oh, man, if I had only bought those homes 10 years ago.
Goodness, no kidding.
Don't get caught 10 years from now going, oh, I wish I had taken advantage of that market.
Exactly. Because we've all done that. Do you realize that if you'd bought 20 homes 20 years ago. I mean, 20 homes 20 years ago, right? You'd built up your inventory, 20 homes 20 years ago. You know what you could have done? Like 5 years later, after you bought those 20 homes or you accumulated that inventory, you could have sold 10 of them, paid off the other 10, had 10 cash flowing paid for properties. Wow, people miss opportunity.
Yeah.
Number 11. This is a big one, man. No exit strategy. The killer is being stuck in a deal with no plan B leads to panic selling or foreclosure. And how do you avoid it? Well, you got to know your exits. I mean, know them before you buy and make that decision. Are you going to flip? Are you going to refi? Are you going to rent? Are you going to wholesale? Are you going to lease option? You've got to always have multiple exit strategies in mind so that regardless of what happens with the deal, or if the market shifts for a little bit, you got to know how you're going to make sure that this property turns into a good deal. Because real estate, assets over time. I love this. And I think Umair said this in his class when we were filming that new class on Friday. He said, assets over time always go up, right? Real estate can be very forgiving as long as you've bought yourself the time because you've got multiple strategies working in your favor for an exit or at least for a long-term buy and hold solution that goes along with that. Okay, number 12. Lack of education. It's funny that they were mentioning that, on the comment section because this is huge, absolutely huge. The killer is this. Trial and error in real estate is expensive and slow. That's why they call it the school of hard knocks. Also, seeking advice from the uninformed and the uneducated can prove to be disastrous. Little point here. Never take advice from somebody that's worse off than you. And how do you avoid it? Well, here it is, man. Invest in your education. The most valuable real estate you'll ever invest in your entire life is the 6 inches between your ears. Join Renatus, plug into the community, learn from those who have already succeeded because successful investors learn from successful investors. Education is absolutely the key. And we see that every single day.
Yep.
I mean, we really do. We've even got, seriously successful investors who dive in and continue their education with us. And it's amazing to see the results that they get and the bump on income and revenue that is realized as a result of investing right here, the 6 inches between your ears. All right, number 13. Can I have a drum roll, please? Woo! Number 13, giving up too soon, man. The killer is this. First challenges take a lot of people out. Good deal scarcity, bad tenants, slow sales, contractor headaches. They all scare off rookies. Man, real estate investing is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Now, it's nice when you can wholesale a deal and have a quick transaction to make $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever your profit margin might be. And it's fantastic when you can do a fix and flip, a successful one where you've realized some great gains and so forth. Those are fun, to get that big payday and on a quick turn deal. But if you really want to create wealth in real estate, it's a long-term play because that happens over time and that happens from buy and hold strategies. That's the beautiful thing. So never, ever give up, man. How do you avoid it? Well, first of all, you believe in yourself, but you got to expect problems. Be realistic. They're just part of the problem or part of the process. Persistence, not perfection, creates wealth in real estate over time.
Oh man, every single person should repeat that every morning. Persistence, not perfection, creates real wealth.
Oh, it does. And you know what? We haven't got enough time. I'm going to have to leave my investment comparison chart for another time. I will just kind of flash it out there with all of my X's and all of my stuff. You guys can take a screenshot. I would be happy to dive deep on that at another time, but I just don't have time today.
It looks like real estate won, just saying.
Real estate crushes everything. Stocks, bonds, gold, silver, crypto, all of this stuff. And I could give you a whole hour lesson on why that's the case. And you know what? Here's the thing. Before we move too far, we got to get into a few questions here. I know that you had a few comments.
Yes.
So let's dive deep.
You know what? I'm just going to read one question here from Brandon.
Okay.
He said, what would you recommend for someone starting in real estate investing who is negative cash flowing, has debt, and no reserves?
Okay. All right. Get educated. It's the first thing. Let me tell you this, when it comes to raising money, is that it's easier when you find a good deal. In other words, that overcomes just about everything. If you find a good deal and you start going around and you start working, with individuals, you can say, okay, here's what I've learned. I've been involved, I've gotten this level of education. I've done the due diligence. I'm working with a community of investors. They're helping to assist me along the way. I found a killer deal. That I can pick up for $250,000. It needs $60,000 in renovations, but it'll sell for $550,000. Now I'm just throwing numbers out there just to make the point, right? But if you've got a killer deal like that and you can put those numbers in front of potential private money lenders, in other words, individuals who are really sick and tired of this ridiculous percentage they're getting from their banks or from different savings instruments, and you can say, I'm willing to pay you 12% interest and a couple of points up front to use your money to help me get this deal done, you're golden because attention really follows opportunity. And if you create that opportunity and you put it in front of enough individuals, they're going to go, you're going to pay me what? You're going to pay me what interest? And then you can say yes, and it's securitized by the very real estate that we're investing in, right?
Love that.
Then you can overcome the challenges you've got for negative cash flow, no reserves, no money, because real estate investing is all about the knowledge that you gain, the skill stack that you create, right? Because every time you create a new strategy, it just makes you more bulletproof in the marketplace. Education overcomes a lot of challenges. So that's my advice to you. I mean, it really is. Get educated. Get into a community that really, will help and assist and show you the ropes so that your belief and conviction can rise, and then spend the time that you need to find that killer deal, because that killer deal will bring you money, it will bring you investors, it will bring you opportunity, and it'll get you into a position where you can make a decent profit so you don't have to worry about negative cash flow and not having anything in your reserves anymore.
I love that. And as you said, the deal of the decade comes along about once a week.
Yep, when you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
All right, man, we've run out of time, and I've still got a few announcements to make after we get done with this, but I do want to just kind of flash this up here. If you want to know more about what we do, how we do it, how we build communities, how we educate folks in the wonderful world of real estate investing, then, man, please, schedule a free 15-minute consultation call with one of our real estate investing experts and see whether or not, we can help assist you, and whether we might be a good fit to actually even educate you and get you up to speed on that. You've got a link on your screen. You've also got a QR code right there. Now, here's another thing that you can do. Put this on your calendar right now. October 23rd through the 25th. In Salt Lake City, Utah, we're going to be doing the 2025 Renatus Fall Summit. This is the E3 Summit. We call it E3 because we're going to educate, equip, engage. That's 3 E's.
That is 3 E's.
Yeah, that's 3 E's. And this is going to be an all-star cast, man. We are bringing in the best of the best. Garrett Gunderson is a great friend of mine. I love this guy, man. And, I called him up the other day. I said, Garrett, you're a New York Times bestselling author. You are a financial expert who speaks literally around the world. I need you to do me a solid. I got the E3 Summit coming up, and I would love for you to be one of our featured keynote speakers. And Garrett didn't even miss a beat. He says, hang on, I got to look at my schedule. He says, Bob, I got those dates open. Count me in. Actually, what he said was, I'll call Tricia and make sure she's got it on the calendar. That's what he said, man. You're going to love Garrett. He is engaging. He's informative. He's entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And what he shares is transformative. It really is. And then Troy Dunn. Hey, I didn't call Troy. You called Troy on this one, right?
I did call Troy.
Yeah.
And, Troy is such a phenomenal individual. He's not only the star of several hit TV shows that have been featured on different networks, but he has actually been a feature on more than 500 different programs promoting himself and promoting his business. He is an expert when it comes to being able to garner attention at little to no cost. And on top of that, he is a phenomenal friend of the community. He loves what Renatus is, who we are, and what we do. And he is going to be another keynote at our E3 conference. If you guys have ever seen Troy present, then you know. If you haven't yet, I am so excited for you to get introduced to him, because he is a phenomenal speaker, and he's hilarious to boot.
He is. He's fantastic. He is, man. And then on top of that, we just showcased a couple of them. I could go on and talk about every single one of these individuals. And we left a few question marks and some blanks there, but honestly, I think we're going to end up with, 25 to 29 total speakers at this 3-day hands-on real estate training and E3 Summit. This is going to be a barn burner. It really is, man. Make sure that you put these dates on your calendar. Now, we're going to be following up with more details about that. Registration. We'll have a registration up before too long and links and all that good stuff. But you don't want to miss this because this is a game changer for anybody who really wants to dive deep and understand real estate investing. Here's another thing too, is that, we've got award-winning catalogs. We've got an incredible publication and graphics department that makes sure that all of our classes have corresponding materials to help assist you in learning. But we also have our Renatus course catalog, which goes through all of our classes and everything else. We've published it in English, but now we're just letting everybody know that the Spanish version is available in the back office. And
you didn't try to say that in Spanish.
I am not.
I'm a little disappointed
to say that in Spanish. Catalogo de curso.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
That could have been Spanish.
Let's go with that. Yeah, but anybody Spanish is going, man, he butchered that.
Probably.
Yes. I speak English, and I'm handicapped at that. So listen, we've really enjoyed our time with you today. I want to thank Ben Kjar for not being able to make it today. We will have him. Oh, and you're going to love Ben. Ben's story is incredible, and the deals he's done it'll blow your mind. I really will. So yeah, you want to make sure you tune in for Ben. He'll be phenomenal. But this was a lot of fun. Thank you, Jay.
This was awesome.
For pinch hitting with me, and it was a good time.
I feel obligated at this point in time. I would feel like we left an opportunity on the table if I did not just represent all of the positive comments that have come through on this call today.
Oh, right on.
All of the people that are saying thank you, all of the people that are expressing appreciation and just love for not just the community, but for you and for what you are creating, your vision and your ethics. It's absolutely a pleasure to get to build inside of Renatus with you. And I love our community.
Yeah, I do too.
It just fills my cup to see individuals who are so engaged. They're so excited about something as boring as real estate investing, but it's all because of the heart that you put into every single thing that you do. So thank you.
Oh, Jay, you're always so kind to me, man. And thank you for being here, because everything that he says to me mirrors right back to him. And I am so blessed to have this guy on my team. And it's been a great day. Renatus Invest Edge. That's a wrap. Thank you for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing you, not next week because it's Memorial Day.
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, we'll be back. And I believe we're scheduled with
Ben Kjar is scheduled for June 2nd. So be there with us. Never forget, the reason why Renatus rocks is because everybody who's associated with us, that includes every single one of you, that includes Mr. Snyder, Mr. Aaron Peterson behind the curtain, and of course, Mr. Ben Kjar. Thanks, everybody. Renatus rocks.
See you soon, man.
Like soldiers pushing forward, blazing into the sea. We're taking the world by storm.
Check it, my life is mine to mold. I will rise with my eyes on the prize of gold. I'll find critics who mimic and spite my goals.